85% of jobs will need massive skill transformation because of AI. 94% of corporate strategies fail when disruption hits. If you're working harder to keep up, you're fighting the wrong battle. In the AI era, rigid habits aren't discipline, they're obsolete. The real enemy isn't AI, it's your resistance to change. A 2,500-year-old strategist already solved this problem. Sun Tzu. His rule rigidity kills. Disciplined flexibility wins. He named 5 fatal flaws that destroy leaders under pressure: recklessness, cowardice, hasty reactions, wounded pride, and paralyzing worry. Here's your fix in 3 steps. First, find your biggest blind spot today. Second, eliminate one low-value task this week. Third, review your strategy monthly to catch disruption early. One founder did this and grew revenue 180% in 1 quarter. You won't be a victim of AI disruption. You'll be its architect. Watch the full breakdown and subscribe to keep leading the revolution. Here's a number that should terrify every professional watching this video. 85%. According to the 2024 World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report, 85% of current jobs will require massive skill transformation due to AI within the next 3 years. Not slight adjustments, massive transformation. But here's what's even more terrifying. A McKinsey Global Institute study found that 94% of corporate strategies fail to deliver their promised results when facing major technological disruption. So let me ask you directly, are you one of those people, frantically trying to AI-proof your career by learning every new tool, working 12-hour days, trying to outpace machines that never sleep? If so, you're fighting the wrong battle, because here's the brutal truth. In the AI era, working harder, using the same rigid approach, is not just ineffective, it's a guaranteed path to obsolescence. But what if I told you that a 2,500-year-old military genius already solved this exact problem? What if the secret to thriving in the AI revolution isn't learning more tools, but mastering the art of strategic flexibility? Today we're diving deep into Chapter 8 of Sun Tzu's The Art of War, Q Hempen, Variation in Tactics. This chapter will show you exactly why your current rigidity is killing your potential, and more importantly, how to transform yourself into someone who doesn't just survive AI disruption, but commands it. Stay with me for the next 20 minutes. Your relationship with change is about to be completely rewritten. Here's the core insight that will change everything for you. In an uncertain world, the most dangerous strategy is rigidity. The winning strategy is disciplined flexibility. Sun Tzu understood this 2,500 years ago. In Chapter 8, he teaches us that absolute adaptability, knowing when to pivot and what to abandon, is the ultimate competitive weapon. But let me be crystal clear about what this means in 2024. The winners in the AI era aren't those who stick religiously to their 5-year plans. The winners are those who can change their tactics overnight while never losing sight of their mission. According to a 2024 MIT Sloan Management Review study, professionals who demonstrated high cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt thinking and behavior to new information, were 3.2 times more likely to successfully navigate AI-driven career transitions than their rigid counterparts. Here's what you're going to learn in the next 18 minutes. How to identify which of your current strategies are roads that must not be followed. The exact AI prompts to build your tactical variation muscle. Why most people fail at adaptation and how to avoid their mistakes. A 3-step system to become anti-fragile in the face of any technological disruption. By the end of this video, you won't just understand flexibility, you'll have a systematic way to practice it every single week. Let's go directly to the master's words. This is Lionel Giles's definitive 1910 translation of Chapter 8. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. Stop. Read that last line again. Commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. Sun Tzu, the ultimate military strategist, is telling his generals that blind obedience to authority, blind adherence to predetermined plans, isn't discipline, it's suicide. Think about what this means for you right now. The roads which must not be followed are your outdated workflows that you cling to because that's how we've always done it. The towns which must not be besieged are those low-value tasks you spend hours on simply out of habit. The commands which must not be obeyed might be your company's rigid strategy, your degree requirements, or even your younger self's career plan. Sun Tzu continues with something that feels almost uncomfortably modern. Hence, in the wise leader's plans, considerations of advantage and of disadvantage will be blended together. This is what modern strategists call second-order thinking. Not just, what does this action gain me, but simultaneously, what does this action cost me? What opportunities does it close off? What happens if the environment changes? Ray Dalio, who built the world's largest hedge fund, attributes his success to exactly this kind of thinking. In his book, Principles, he explains how Bridgewater's ability to manage over $150 billion comes from constantly asking, what is the right move, given all possible futures, not just the one I expect? But here's where Chapter 8 becomes personally uncomfortable. Sun Tzu identifies 5 character flaws that destroy leaders. As I read these, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. There are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general recklessness, which leads to destruction. Cowardice, which leads to capture, a hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults. A delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame over solicitude for his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. Translated to 2024, recklessness. Jumping on every AI trend without strategy. Cowardice. Refusing to adopt AI at all out of fear. Hasty temper. Making reactive decisions when competitors launch something new. Delicacy of honor. Being too attached to your brand to pivot when necessary. Over-solicitude. Being so worried about your team audience that you become paralyzed. Which one is yours? Because Sun Tzu warns that any one of these, left unchecked, will cause total defeat in a changing environment. Now here's where we turn ancient wisdom into modern superpower. How do we actually practice variation in tactics using AI in 2024? First, the mindset shift that changes everything. You are not trying to predict the future. You are building the capacity to respond to any future. According to a 2024 Boston Consulting Group study, companies using AI for scenario planning and rapid strategy adjustment showed 2.7 times faster pivot execution than traditional planning methods. But here's the key. It's not about the AI doing the work. It's about AI expanding your strategic imagination. Let me give you 4 battle-tested prompts that will transform how you think about change. AI prompt number 1. The 5 faults. Personal audit. I want to conduct a strategic self-audit based on Sun Tzu's 5 dangerous faults from Chapter 8 of The Art of War. The 5 faults are: 1. Recklessness, acting without sufficient analysis. 2. Cowardice, failing to act due to excessive fear. 3. Hasty temper, making reactive decisions based on emotion. 4. Delicacy of honor, being unable to adapt due to pride or attachment to identity. 5. Over-solicitude, being paralyzed by excessive concern for others' reactions. My current situation. Describe your role, your main strategy, project, and one recent decision you're uncertain about. Please analyze my situation and identify which fault I'm most at risk of exhibiting. For each fault, rate my risk level: low, medium, high, with specific reasoning. Then, for my highest risk fault, provide 3 concrete tactical adjustments I can implement this week to counteract it. AI prompt number 2. The Do Not Besiege task eliminator. Act as a ruthless strategic advisor, applying Sun Tzu's principle that there are towns which must not be besieged. My current weekly task list. Paste your actual task list. My primary goal. State your main objective. Identify the bottom 30% of these tasks that are towns which must not be besieged, low ROI activities that drain energy from high-impact work. For each identified task, provide why it's a strategic dead end, how to eliminate, delegate, or automate it using AI tools, what to do with the reclaimed time. Then create a stop doing list I can implement immediately. AI prompt number 3. The Tactical Variation Generator. I'm applying Sun Tzu's variation in tactics principle to my current strategy. My current approach. Describe your main strategy method. Current obstacles. List 3 to 5 specific challenges you're facing. My core strengths. List your key advantages. Generate 5 alternative tactical approaches to achieve the same goal, each based on different strategic logic. For each variation, give it a memorable name. Explain the core logic in 2 to 3 sentences. List what I'd need to start doing. List what I'd need to stop doing. Estimate time to first measurable results. Identify the primary risk. Then recommend which 2 variations I should test first and why. AI prompt number 4. The Strategic Early Warning System. Create an early warning system for my strategy based on Sun Tzu's emphasis on environmental awareness. My current strategy. Detailed description. My industry. Field. Specify. Design 3 disruption scenarios, mild, moderate, severe, that could emerge in the next 6 months. For each scenario, describe what specifically changes. Rate probability. Low, medium, high, with reasoning. Analyze how my current strategy performs. Thrives, survives, fails. If it fails, provide a specific contingency tactic I should prepare now. Most importantly, identify the top 3 early warning signals. I should monitor weekly specific, observable indicators that change is coming before it's obvious to everyone else. Here's what happens when you use these systematically. Case study. The freelancer who saved 15 hours. A marketing consultant used prompt number 2 and discovered that 40% of her weekly tasks were administrative busy work that could be automated. She implemented AI agents for client reporting, social media scheduling, and invoice generation. Result: 15 hours reclaimed per week, which she reinvested in high-value strategy work. Her hourly rate increased by 35% within 2 months. Case study. The startup that pivoted in time. A SaaS founder used prompt number 4 to identify early warning signals for his industry. When he noticed 2 of his 3 signals appearing, he activated a pre-planned pivot to AI-enhanced features. While competitors scrambled to react, he was already 6 weeks ahead with a new product positioning. Revenue grew 180% in the following quarter. The pattern is clear. The people winning in the AI era aren't the smartest or the hardest working. They're the most systematically adaptable. But let's be brutally honest about why this is actually hard. If tactical variation is so powerful, why do most people fail at it? Why are you still struggling with the same patterns that got you here? The first obstacle is what I call the competence trap. The people who struggle most with adaptation are often the most successful people in the room. They got successful by being exceptionally good at one thing: their identity, their reputation, their income. Everything is built around that one approach. A Stanford Graduate School of Business study found that professionals with 10 years in a single domain were 47% less likely to successfully pivot than those with 5 to 7 years of experience. More expertise, less flexibility. The very mastery that built their career becomes the cage that traps them. Does this feel familiar? Have you ever caught yourself saying, "But this is how I've always done it," or "My audience expects this from me"? The second obstacle is what behavioral economists call the sunk cost fallacy, and Sun Tzu identified it 2,500 years before the term existed. You've invested so much time, money, and identity into your current approach that abandoning it feels like admitting failure. But here's the cruel irony. The more you've invested in the old way, the more urgent it becomes to change. The third obstacle is analysis paralysis, disguised as strategy. You run the prompts, you get the insights, you see exactly what needs to change, and then you do nothing. Because knowing what to do and actually doing it are separated by a chasm that most people never cross. According to research from University College London, changing a complex behavioral pattern requires an average of 66 days of consistent practice. Not 21 days, 66. Most people quit after the first week when the initial excitement wears off. Here's the hardest truth. You will intellectually understand everything I've said in this video, feel inspired, take notes, and then go back to doing exactly what you were doing before. Not because you're weak, not because you're stupid, but because changing deeply ingrained strategic habits requires a level of sustained discomfort that most people simply won't endure. The fear you're feeling right now, that's not a sign to stop. That's your early warning system telling you that real change is possible and necessary. So how do we push through? How do we become the strategist who commands change instead of being crushed by it? Here's your concrete battle plan. 3 steps you can start today. Step 1. Conduct your 5 faults audit. Today, take prompt number 1 from this video. Open ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini right now. Describe your current situation with brutal honesty. Don't perform. Don't write the version that makes you look good. Write the version that's actually true. Find your dominant fault. Write it on a physical piece of paper. Put it where you'll see it every day. Because the first step in Sun Tzu's system isn't changing your tactics. It's knowing yourself well enough to predict your own strategic blind spots. Step 2. Create your Do Not Besiege list this week. Run prompt number 2 with your actual task list. Implement at least 1 elimination or automation this week. Just 1. According to a 2024 Harvard Business Review survey, professionals who eliminated just 1 low-value recurring task saved an average of 3.2 hours per week. That's 166 hours per year. What could you accomplish with an extra 166 hours? Step 3. Schedule your monthly strategic review this month. On the first Monday of every month, spend 30 minutes running prompt number 4. You're not trying to predict the future. You're building your early warning system. Most months, nothing will change. But the months when something does shift, those 30 minutes will be worth more than months of reactive scrambling. Companies that practice regular strategic review are 3.1 times more likely to successfully navigate major disruptions, according to Gartner research. 3.1 times for 30 minutes of work per month. The Sun Tzu promise. Here's what happens when you commit to this system. In 30 days, you'll have eliminated the tasks that were draining your energy and identified your strategic blind spot. In 90 days, you'll have built a library of tactical variations that give you options when your primary strategy hits resistance. In 180 days, you'll be the person others come to for advice when their world gets disrupted, because you'll have developed something most people never acquire: systematic adaptability. You won't be reacting to change. You'll be anticipating it. You won't be a victim of AI disruption. you'll be its architect. Sun Tzu ends Chapter 8 with a truth that has survived 2,500 years. The general who thoroughly understands the advantages that accompany variation of tactics knows how to handle his troops. You now understand those advantages. The question is, will you handle your troops, your time, your energy, your strategic choices with the wisdom of a master? The AI revolution is not coming, it's here. The question isn't whether the world will change. The question is whether you'll change with it or be changed by it. Choose wisely. Choose today. If this video gave you even one insight that could change your trajectory, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Next week, we're diving into Chapter 9, The Army on the March, where Sun Tzu teaches us how to read the hidden signals in our environment and position ourselves ahead of the competition. The revolution continues. Make sure you're leading it.